Hey everyone, it's Ethan or Miist back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another video. Today we're going to be talking about every movie I watched last week, and overall, it was a pretty interesting week. We had a lot of ups and downs, but yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start right away with a movie I don't think I would have ever watched unless I was dating Mel, because Barbie Princess Charm School I watched this week. Mel wants to watch all the animated Barbie movies from her childhood, and I think there's like 27 or something. Oh man. Apparently this is one of the good ones. Obviously I didn't enjoy it very much. I ranked it a 15 out of 100, and that means it's one of my lowest movies ever. It just barely misses out on the bottom 10. So Mel was pretty sad about that, obviously, but even when she watched it, obviously we watched it together, when she watched it, she didn't think it was as good as she remembered either. So, yeah, she really wants to watch her favorite Monster High movies from childhood as well, so we'll see. Anyways, Mel was sick this week, so this was kind of one of her comfort sick movies, and we watched a bunch of movies together this week, but she's not with me today. She's at work, so anyways, let's move on to a big theme of this week, which is actually horror or thriller horror. We'll start it off with The Strangers Chapter 1, which I seen in a pretty full theater. Yeah, I didn't think this was going to be such a popular movie this weekend, but it really seemed to be. My theater was pretty much full, and I don't think many people enjoyed this movie either. For an hour and a half, it was really slow, and I found it really boring at times as well. I really find anything happening. And obviously you can read my review here, but as soon as the credits started rolling, a couple in front of me, I had heard the girl say to the guy that that's 90 minutes, she's never going to get back, which I just thought was funny. Which is fair, but I just thought that was funny. And then as I was leaving the theater, there was a different couple talking to one of the employees at the theater, because they had asked if we had enjoyed the movie or not, and they were just ranting about how much they didn't like the movie, especially compared to the original, which we're going to see the original on this list here soon, which I didn't really enjoy that either, but they enjoyed it anyways. Overall, I mean, I ranked this one a 31 out of 100. I didn't enjoy this movie either very much. Yeah. Moving on to The Strangers. So this is the original from 2008, which I ranked at 33 out of 100. So like I said, didn't enjoy this one either. I would say I liked it a little bit more, really. That's about it. I just think overall it's a better movie. Honestly, I don't even know if I really do enjoy it that much more. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not great. They're both really not good. For the three Strangers movies that I watched this week, they only combined for like 100 out of 300. So I didn't actually do the math, but I will in a sec. Anyways, yeah, this one was just not good either, in my opinion. I didn't like this one very much either. I don't know, I just have this weird thing with Liv Tyler. I just don't like her very much. Is that her name? I believe that's her name. I'm just not a fan of her very much. I don't know why, but yeah. So let's move on to The Strangers Prey at Night, which is the sequel to the original The Strangers, which I ranked a 40 out of 100. And I can actually say confidently that there was a scene in this movie that I enjoyed, where that really wasn't a thing in the previous two movies. So I did enjoy the pool scene. It was pretty neon, which I really liked. It was nice to actually see some color in any of these movies, because they were so dark. So yeah, that was pretty good. I did enjoy that scene a little bit. I would say I probably enjoyed this cast the most as well. But yeah, overall, again, I didn't really enjoy this movie. So out of those three movies, they combined for a score of 104 out of 300. So that's obviously not very good. But yeah, let's move on to perhaps the most racist movie I've ever watched, The Dictator, which I ranked a 44 out of 100. Obviously, you can read my review, and I said I feel kind of racist reviewing this highly if I do. Now, that's not the reason why I ranked it a 44. Overall, I just didn't enjoy the movie very much. I did laugh a few times, but it wasn't actually really at the racist joke. So, kind of proud of myself for that because I know I have some friends that would enjoy this movie, and I know that for a fact. But this is just not my kind of movie. I similarly to horrors don't really get me scared, and comedies don't really make me laugh. I don't know. I do laugh a lot, but comedies just aren't very funny to me. But whatever. Overall, it was okay. It was almost decent. It was almost mid, but it's just kind of like borderline. So 44 out of 100 obviously isn't good, but we actually have a big jump onto our next movie, which is The Amazing Spider-Man, which Mel and I watched the first 5 Spider-Man movies this week. We watched the original Tobey trilogy and then the 2 Andrew movies. And we are hoping to get through the Tom trilogy again this week alongside the Spider-Verses, which I'm very excited for because Mel has never watched the Spider-Verse movies. And we have watched Homecoming and Far From Home, but we never ended up watching No Way Home because I wanted to watch all the other Spider-Mans before that. So we're hoping that we're going to get through those next 5 this week, and I'm very, very excited for that. It was a really good refresher to go back and rewatch these movies because although I didn't really forget anything, it's just been a while, and my ranks changed for quite a few of the movies. Both of the Amazing Spider-Mans especially, so yeah, we're going to talk about that now, obviously. So you can see this is my lowest rated Spider-Man movie that I've watched at a 72 out of 100. Obviously, you can see my review here. I lowered this movie from an 84 down to a 72, which is pretty sad, and it seems kind of harsh, to be fair, but I really didn't enjoy this much as I remember previously enjoying this, and I haven't watched these movies in about 2 years. I haven't watched the first 5 Spider-Man in about 2 years, way back in like summer of 2022. So, like I said, some of my reactions have changed about these movies, but overall, I think this is like barely a good movie. I don't think it's anything special. I know there's kind of been like a rise in the Andrew movies being better than they are. I'm honestly not on that train right now because they both got lowered a lot for me this week. And similarly, my next movie is The Amazing Spider-Man 2 because I don't understand why people don't think this is a better movie than the first one. It just is, in my opinion. The music, the score, the acting, obviously, and the final scene is just so devastating. Watching it with Mel last night, I absolutely sobbed, and Mel did too. It was an emotional night, and what's sad about this one is that I had this ranked at an 87, and I lowered it to a 73, so The Amazing Spider-Man dropped 12 points, and then the Amazing Spider-Man 2 dropped 14 points. So yeah, obviously, I really don't enjoy either of them that much. I both almost had them at 4.5 stars, and now they're down to barely 3.5 stars, so I'm scared to rewatch them again eventually because I wouldn't be surprised if they go down again, honestly. So that's really sad because I love Andrew. Andrew is my favorite Spider-Man, but, well, Shamik Moore is, but Andrew's my favorite live-action Spider-Man. Anyways, we'll move on to just 1 point above, once again, Ingrid Goes West, which I ranked a 74 out of 100. And this was a very interesting movie with quite an interesting plot as well. Kind of about this obsessive social media stalker, and that's very scary because that could be very real nowadays and this time of our lives, just because this was made in 2017, and this was kind of like the start of the Instagram models, the Instagram famous, and then this is kind of where really influencers started to become a thing, and now it's crazy big how big like an influencer is or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, this is a pretty scary movie because this could really just be like a case of reality for some people, which is very horrifying. So let's move on to Starship Troopers, which I ranked a 79 out of 100. And I gotta say, for almost a 30-year-old movie, this CGI was amazing. And the practical effects with it, it looked really, really great. The scale of this movie seemed absolutely massive, and that's definitely a benefit. I would like to rewatch this because I seem to be a little bit lower on it than most people. And I didn't get to watch this in one sitting. Unfortunately, it was a busy day that day. But overall, yeah, I enjoyed this movie. Ranked at 79 out of 100, obviously. And it was a really interesting anti-war film that at the start of the movie in like the first act, but then it just kind of went into like a war film in the second and third act, in my opinion. So again, I like to rewatch it, give it another chance because I feel like I could like it a little bit more. But with that being said, let's move on to my least favorite Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, which is Spider-Man 3. Which I ranked an 82 out of 100, so that actually didn't change. And I know a lot of people don't like this movie, but this movie is great. Whether it's a convoluted mess, whether there's too much going on, whether it's bad acting, whether it's cringy, I really don't care. I love this movie so fucking much, man. It's so fucking good. Yeah, man. Mel enjoyed this movie too. I think this was Mel's favorite of the Tobey trilogy, which is a big LOL. But yeah, obviously the black suit and the score when we see Tobey in the black suit is just one of the most memorable scenes in comic book films, maybe perhaps in film. Like, it's absolutely incredible, and Sam Raimi just had a true sauce in the early 2000s making this trilogy, and I fucking love this movie. An 82 out of 100. Moving on to Disturbia, which is a first-time watch for me, at an 84 out of 100. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I seem to be a little bit higher on this movie than others, but I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I thought it was really interesting, and I thought the themes of the movie kind of bounced around a lot, which I actually enjoyed. I didn't find it to be too much. It was kind of like a cute love story to a thriller to a horror, and then, it kind of flip-flopped between those three, and I really enjoyed my time with this movie, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was a really just fun and, well, maybe I shouldn't say fun, but fun and interesting movie, kind of just being a character study turned into a crime thriller, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and like I said, I seem to be a little bit higher on this movie than most, so 84 out of 100. Moving on to what I believe to now be the top three. Let me double check. I think so, yes. Now into the top three, starting it off with Tobey Maguire's first, Spider-Man, and I love this movie. This ranking didn't change for me, neither did Spider-Man 3, but this is still a 90 out of 100. It gets the 4.5 stars from me, and I just have such a love for this movie, man. I don't understand. Like, I don't know what it is. I know I'm higher on this movie than others as well. I think this is just such a unique movie. Like, it's just never... I just don't think this is something that can, be made again because it's so unique and it's so interesting, and it just is really good and really fun with a tremendous villain that we get even more of him at the end of the Spider-Man saga, and it's just truly amazing. I absolutely love Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man, and Sam Raimi. Like I said, Sam Raimi just has the sauce. Like, he really, really does. He's just incredible, truly. Now, let's move on to number 2. And speaking of another movie I seem to be higher on than most is Leon the Professional. I was absolutely floored with this movie. I loved this movie, and I think now this is one of my favorite movies from the 90s because I absolutely love this movie. I recommended this to everyone while I was watching it, and I will say I enjoyed the first half of the movie more than the second half of the movie, but I really, really loved this movie. It was an interesting story. I did see people complain a little bit about there wasn't enough character work, which maybe another 10 to 15 minutes in the movie could have added some more character work, but overall, I enjoyed both characters, and all three performances from Jean Reno, Natalie Portman, and Gary Oldman were absolutely incredible because they were three completely different performances and they were all amazingly acted. I loved each and every one of them so very much, and this was Natalie Portman's debut in acting, and her at 12 years old in this movie is better than all three of her parts in the prequel trilogy of Spider-Man, or not of Spider-Man, sorry, Spider-Man on the Brain of Star Wars, because she was absolutely incredible at 12 years old, man. It's wild. So let's move on to my favorite movie of the week, which is Spider-Man 2, a 97 out of 100. I raised this from a 93, or no, sorry, a 92 up to a 97 out of 100, and man, this movie literally just gets better every time I watch it. And again, like I said, it's been about 2 years since I watched these movies, and this one was absolutely incredible. I absolutely loved this movie even more this time around, and it is truly special. It has the best villain in the Tobey movies. It has the best script in the Tobey movies. It's probably the most interesting, and I don't know. I don't know what I can say about this movie to convince you that it's top 3 Spider-Man. Obviously, most people would have this top 3 Spider-Man, and for me, it is now, because I think it was originally, but now it's like firmly cemented itself at number 3, because, yeah, this movie's just absolutely incredible, and I love this movie very, very much. And it tops it out at my favorite of the week. So, with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. This was a pretty long one, obviously, sorry about that. But I did get to watch like 14 movies this week, so it's a pretty good week for me. It's been a little while since I've been able to do that. So, anyways, thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.